So I recently got my old forklift functional again by putting three 12-volt batteries on the back deck, wiring them in series, and it's been doing everything I need for it to do. It's been awesome. In this video, I'm going to attempt to fix my shift cylinders. They've been leaking terribly for a couple of years. Now, I'm not a forklift mechanic. I'm not a hydraulics expert. I know people are going to tell me I should bring it to a professional, but just transporting this thing to a shop would cost more than it's worth. And getting somebody out here to do it is the same thing. So I'm going to muddle through. I rebuilt the big cylinder a couple years ago, and it almost fell on me. So a lot of people fussed at me. But we're going to redo these little ones, so we're going to be careful. And this is not a how-to video. This is just a video, documenting what I had to go through to fix them so that I could use this forklift without it leaking all over the place.
I rebuilt this big cylinder a couple of years ago. Almost killed myself because it fell. I was aiming for my head, and it's not leaking at all, so that makes me feel better. Should be able to get this little one. Although it's a dual action, it goes both ways, so that'll be a little bit different. But yeah, it's all good stuff. The battery is done. I'm gonna sell that big charger, and I gotta get a trickle charger that will keep this thing up. I don't think I can lift it. I'm gonna use the crane. Might save my back and my fingers. It'll be fun to try to get them back on later.
So this is a good little pressure washer, but it's not a hot water pressure washer. And it doesn't have a soap attachment, so it will remove dirt and caked dry grease. But the greasy grease, it doesn't seem to touch it at all.
So I got it inside. It didn't really come clean, but it's a lot less grungy than it was. And now I gotta do some head scratching. I got these two bolts here, and this one's not even tight. But I don't think that's gonna do me much good because the hydraulic connections are right in back of here. And they're under this guard, and this guard is bolted with these 4 bolts coming from the back, which I can't really get to. So I got it propped up high so I would lose less hydraulic fluid when I take this thing apart. But I think I need to take this whole shifting part. You can see where it kind of hangs on here. I think I need to take it off so I can get to stuff from the back. So it's got a big bolt on the bottom. Yeah, it's pretty nasty. Yeah, so I'm gonna attempt to get that off. Now it's gonna be heavy, but it's right under my overhead crane, so that's not an issue. I can hold it with the crane. Let's see if I can get those bolts out, the big ones in the back. So the bolt or the nut on the back is 15/16, and luckily I had one of those. And I started turning it, and then this side started turning, and it was all caked up with grease, and I thought maybe it was a hex head, and I thought maybe it was a hex head, but it was round on the outside, and I was kind of freaking out. And then I dug out the middle, and it's an Allen, big old giant Allen bolt. Of course, I don't have an Allen wrench that big, but I do have a nut that fits in there. Double nutted it, and these are coming out pretty easy. Probably They don't know what rust is because they've been greasy their whole lives. Yep, I think I can lift it off now. I think I can just lift it off.
So I had to scratch my head and re-rig it, but it still was not coming off. I wasn't there yet. So I've got the main frame propped up with 4x4s, and theoretically it should not fall because it's hydraulic, and if I don't operate the lever it shouldn't move. But, you know, I might accidentally undo the wrong hose or something, so we got it propped up just for safety's sake.
I don't think I'm the first person in here because this side has no bolts. This side has two very short bolts, and I can barely get them out by swinging this forward. So I think somebody couldn't get the long bolts in there before because there's just no freaking room. Barely enough room, and I didn't have the right size wrench, but I have a metric wrench that fits pretty close, so I can get these bolts out.
So I've learned this is not one double acting cylinder. This is two separate single acting cylinders. And the female end has no hoses or anything going to it. It had that bolt that kind of screwed into a divot at the end. But other than that, it just kind of sat there. It's the middle part, the male part, that's such a challenge to get to because it's got the hoses and they're just so hard to get to.
This one will come off if I take the hydraulic hose off. Let me do that. It is quite possible that these cylinders were not even leaking. That leaks were in the loose OSB fittings because it seemed like they were all loose, but I can't get this bolt out and I can't get the cylinders out because there's a little plate right here. And it's bolted from the back with two little bolts, and I've been struggling with those. But I guess I got to keep on struggling. I got to get something loose here.
So I was finally able to get a visual on the hoses from the hydraulic cylinders and where they went and connected up. I could not get them loose from the cylinders, but I could get them loose from the next connection down. So that's what I ended up doing, and I never did take them off the cylinders. I just took them, I handled the cylinders with the hose hanging on there.
Well, it's apart. I don't think that was the way it's supposed to come apart. Okay, we are free. We are free. Now I can get this little piece off because I can get to the bottom bolt. And now I can get this off because I can get to the back of this bolt. And I just need to figure out how we're going to put it back together without going through this again. I thought these were going to be complicated cylinders since it was a dual action, but as simple as it can be. Each cylinder just has a hose and it pushes. And then if you want to go the other way, this one pushes and it forces this one back. Or this one pushes and forces this one back. It's not even pinned on either end. This end pushes on a plate, and this end pushes on a plate. So the cylinders push between this flange and this flange. They're just sitting there. Seems like I ought to be able to get them back. It's the hoses that are so gosh darn tight. I got them covered with pieces of gloves. Try to keep some of that dirt out. All right, I need to open those things up and see what kind of parts I need. The cylinder looks great. This fitting is tight. The other bitting, I don't think was tight. The seal is not good. It's got a booger in it. It's boogers. Let me see if I can get them out. Should be able to without a problem. Yep, definitely boogered up. I don't think I did that. I think it was put in wrong. There's another one. There's a wear sleeve. Get something more pointier to get that one out. So all 4 seals are the same, 2 on each cylinder. I'm not replacing that wear ring thing in the middle. These are 40-48 5s, which means 40 ID, 48 OD, and 5 thick. I believe that's millimeters. I ended up with 40-48 6. So what I could find, I bought a package of 5 of them on Amazon for like $8, and they work fine. Experience is a good thing. Now that I know how the thing's put together, I can put this piece back on the frame and put the frame back on the front of the forklift with the big clips on the bottom. One thing I have to do is, the reason there were no bolts in these 2 holes because the bolts are broken off in both of them. That shouldn't be too hard to get out. Yeah, so the only thing I have to get off to remove the cylinders is the hoses and this little booger, which is really hard to get to, but it's doable. So let's put this back on the frame. Let's try to get those broken bolts out and yeah, maybe some of the grease. So the 2 missing bolts on that bracket weren't entirely missing. The bolts were broken off in the hole, both of them, so the head part was gone. So rather than try to drill and put it easy out, I tried to cut a slot where I could put a regular screwdriver in there, and it worked. I got them both out and I replaced the bolts. They were just standard American thread bolts. So now we have 4 bolts where there used to be 2. I don't know if that makes any difference in the world, but that's the way it was designed, so that's the way we put it back. There's other ways in the box. All right, got them out. Gotta go find 2 bolts. So it's got these neat little plastic slides that fit in here. This one even has shim stock behind it. I'm sure they're all worn out past that amount of adjustment by now, but yeah, pretty cool. All right, it's set. It is set and we are ready to put the big bolts in the bottom. bolt. Washing in that.
A little bit of a trick getting the nut started with your hand backwards turned around like that. I guess if I was a mechanic I could do it pretty quickly, but I'm not. So I struggled, but I got them started. And I probably could have cleaned these parts a little better. This little clip and these big bolts, it probably would have made a little bit of a nicer job, but I didn't. So here we are. Spent a lot of time with my fingers all up in this contraption, all these moving parts, and I never did really like it. I was always a little nervous. Yeah, that thing could do so much harm so quickly. All these parts are super heavy. But we had it propped up, and yeah, no problem.
So it took me 2 hours to take apart this morning. It's taken me about 20 minutes to put it back together. Just because you know. When you don't know, you don't know. But now I know. So I've ordered seals for the hydraulic cylinders. They might even be here tomorrow. Amazon is incredible. And if they fit, we will put this thing back together, and hopefully there'll be no more leaks. I think there was definitely a bad seal in that one, so it was definitely leaking. And I'm pretty sure there was a loose hydraulic fitting. Hard to tell though when you mess with all these wrenches so much. You're not sure if you did it or if it was like that.
I've noticed there are several grease zerks on this front end of this machine. I've never greased it. Always seemed to be greasy enough, but this particular one shoots grease through that plastic bushing thing and lubricates it so it can slide back and forth. But this little grease gun wasn't working, so we didn't get grease in it.
Short of lubrication, that's for sure. So my seals came in the mail yesterday. These are not exactly the correct ones. These are 40-48 fives, which means, if I understand it correctly, 40 millimeters ID, 48 OD, and 5 thickness. These are 40-48 sixes. I'm gonna try them. They were so cheap. It was $10 for 5 of them. So I'm gonna see if I can get them in here. If I can't, I will just order a new set. So got to fold these things in on themselves. So yeah, and actually I don't even know if these are the right ones, because obviously somebody has been in here. Somebody's been in here in the past, so I don't even know that those are the correct ones. Let's see, get my shaky fingers to get this thing in there. I don't really know how to do this. Oh. Well, it fit in the groove, but it's still not folded over correctly. Hey. Pretty close. I need a screwdriver because it's twisted. All right, I'm gonna turn you off. Stop recording. Well, the first one went in, so I think we're gonna be okay. So this is kind of tricky. You gotta fold it over on itself. I got my shaky fingers are not helping any. Okay, we started. You can't see my face, but I'm making all kind of funny shapes with my, it's in there. Let's see. Let's put a little bit of oil on this cylinder. God dog. I think that's going to work. Okay. Okay, they're both back together. That was fairly easy. There's a fly driving me crazy. Just got to get real horsey with this thing and just fold it over like a pretzel. And then it'll go in. So, time to go set these back in the machine. Let's see. Okay, so I miscalculated, I believe. I am going to have to lean this thing forward because I can't physically get this in with this in. Can't get this off with this on. So I've got to take this off. Yeah, okay, but I know how to do it now. It won't take that long. Alright, what size wrench was that? This is how they go. They just sit here. And then this thing goes and keeps them from coming upwards. So I got to put this back. I know, because once you turn it around, you cannot get to the bolt. So I know this has to go. And then I'll probably have to extend the cylinder out to get these hoses close so they can go drop in the back. For now, I'll leave them squunched up to protect them. So let me put these 4 bolts back, and then we're going to turn it right back around, put it back on. Okay, plate's back on, the cylinders are sitting here. Put the bolt back in each end, that keeps them from falling over. And now I'm going to put this in the middle, because this has to go, these hoses have to go straight down in there. I think we're ready to put it back. This plastic thing keeps falling out, but I can scoot it in right before I bolt it. Let's see what happens here. The visibility of these parts, the being able to see, is pretty challenging. And this time, it's not my 71-year-old eyes. It's just the way it's made. You can't see, and you can't get your fingers in a lot of the places to feel. So it's yeah, it's kind of tricky. Okay, now we're in place. Yep. Now, these hoses line up fine. So now I need to put this plastic square strip back in. Left hand. Goes in that hole.
So can you see to put the thing in the right spot to make sure it's in there? Heck no.
Where's it go? Oh, it goes on this side.
And I was trying to put it on the wrong side, so that wasn't going to work. Get it on the right side where there's actually a hole for it, and it went right in.
All right, then I'm gonna put those big greasy brackets on the bottom, the big bolts, and then I'll turn you back on. Now this little sucker here is going to be way harder than all these heavy metal things. It goes in the back here. It pulls both hoses down, and I've got them pushed out till they're touching. And I'm not anywhere close to having this thing in the right spot. I don't know me. Can't see anything. Possible that this can get left off, but let's keep trying. I know you can't see, I'm gonna turn you off. I got that little plate in the back, and the top bolt I got in. The back bolt, I came really close to throwing it over the fence, but I finally got it. And just to make it more irritating, it's metric, so the wrenches I was trying to use didn't fit. The only metric bolts on this whole machine. So the hoses are hooked back up, the hydraulic lines, but I don't understand how we get the air out of the cylinders, because these two cylinders are full of air. There's no bleed, just one hose in. I don't know, I guess we just maybe work them back and forth. But anyway, the contraption is back together. And get my straps off, and we can operate it and see what happens. Well, I don't know. Uh-oh. This O-ring, I got a feeling it came out of this connection right here. I'm gonna take that back off before I forget about it. It's all full of foamy fluid, a lot of air in the fluid, a lot of built up pressure because it wants to keep bubbling. So we'll just we'll take our time. I don't want to get hydraulic oil sprayed all over the place.
I don't have a wrench to fit this, and I don't even know if they make a wrench to fit this particular spot, so I'm just kind of tapping it home with a hammer and a punch, and it's doing good.
Okay, that was where the O-ring came out. Should have been on the face of that 90. And this was a little loose. I tapped it, seemed to tighten up. So let's get in there again and try it. Should be okay. And then I got to get the forks back on this big bad boy.
Okay, since the forks are on, the machine is completely put back together and it does not appear to leak oil. I have a very messy shop floor. I have my shirt on backwards, but we have a working forklift, so we're considering this a success. So thanks for watching.